Hey guys, what is up? It is Dolan here, and welcome to Video Game Finds number 59. Now this week, I got a pretty good amount of stuff. Again, all local, which is really cool. Nothing major exciting, but there is a couple of pretty cool things in here that I thought were over the top, just from generally finding stuff. So, this all was found yesterday, which was Saturday. I didn't go out at all during the week, which I wish I could have, but the weather wasn't very nice this week. It started snowing, which is kind of odd because for the last like 2-3 weeks it was like 60-70 degrees out, and then all of a sudden snow just comes in. So anyway, so yeah, all this stuff came from yesterday. I think I got most of it came from a pawn shop, which I hadn't been to in a while, but then a few things came from Arc and Goodwill. So I'll go ahead and start with this piece. And this was the first find of the day, and it came from Arc, which is really cool. I hadn't found anything like this in a while, but the last time I found something of this was from the same Arc anyway, so it's kind of funny. But what we have here is a gray official Nintendo 64 controller. The stick is not the greatest at all. It does work, but that is fairly loose. I'd say it's like a 2 or a 3. But the controller works very nicely otherwise. It has a couple of nicks in the cord, but what I was excited about is that it had the rumble pack attached to it, and that came with it, and it's the official Nintendo one, which is really cool. And the controller and the rumble pack were only $5 together, which I cannot complain about because the rumble packs are like $8 to $10 at least, and a broken thumbstick controller could go for about maybe $10-12. So, not bad at all. I thought that was really cool. I'll definitely keep the rumble pack because I don't have a whole lot of those. But the controller, as far as that goes, I might try to fix the thumbstick. I'm not sure yet. It's kind of hard to come by official thumbsticks. I don't like the aftermarket ones too much. But anyways, it still works, so it's not too big a deal. But $5, you can't pass that up. So, very cool. Thought that was awesome to find. Then, I went to Goodwill, where I usually meet George every weekend, and he spotted these from a distance. I didn't even see them. They were one of these employees came out from the back room, and he was carrying a stack of CDs, is what it looked like from what I could tell. But what George saw was something completely different, which I'm glad he saw because I didn't even get a glimpse. But then we divided them, and we started splitting up through them. There were 6 games total. One of them was a Game Boy Color game. I did not get that, unfortunately, because, you know, since he spotted the stuff, he wanted to get first pick out of the stuff. But there was 2 PS1 games that I got, and then he got the other PS1 games. But the 2 here I do not have per se, but I'll show you as we go. But the first one here is South Park Chef's Love Shack, which is in pretty good shape. It is complete. I fixed the front of the case because it had a big crack in it in the back, in the bottom corner down here, so I just, you know, swapped it out with a different CD case. But there's that one, which is really cool. I did not have that one. And then this one is the reason why the title is named for this week as it is. This was very cool. This is not a, you know, too obscure title, but for the reason I got it and why it's so exciting is really awesome. But that is Tomb Raider 3 Adventures of Lara Croft, but this is factory sealed. And that is very cool to find a game of this, you know, style. You know, it's like not a sports game or anything. That's pretty cool to find one of these like this at a Goodwill. It's factory sealed. What's cool about this is that it came with a couple other games that were sealed too, but I already had those ones. Plus the ones that, you know, the other ones that were sealed were greatest hits. So I don't collect greatest hits, but that's why I let George get them. But it was Tomb Raider 2, but then there was also another Tomb Raider 3. Which is kind of odd because someone had 2 Tomb Raider 3s that were sealed, which kind of, you know, I don't know if, you know, it was a mistake when they got them as like a gift or something, I'm not sure. But then there was also Tomb Raider Last Revelations and Tomb Raider the first one, I think, as well, that was in there. But this was the only one that I was really interested in. I do have Tomb Raider 3, but now I have a sealed copy, which is just awesome. So that was very cool. The total for those 2, it came out kind of odd. It was the game prices have been going up recently at Goodwill. I don't know if they're trying to, you know, try a different tactic in pricing games, but I ended up paying $9 for the 2 games. It was going to be like $8.67 or something. They asked me to round up for the donations and stuff, and I always do. So $9 for 2 games, especially for a sealed one, I cannot, complain about that. So very, very cool. Alright, next, I went to another ARC thrift store, and this one's a little bit farther away from me, so I go there every weekend, but I usually don't come home with anything really, because it's just kind of dry. But hopefully this spring, when it's spring cleaning and stuff, that'll hopefully change it around. But I found one thing. It was $1.61 after tax and everything, but that is an official Nintendo RF switch here. I kind of already wrapped it up and everything. Just, I have a huge bin of these. I just get them when I see them just because, they're official Nintendo products, and I don't know, I just have a bunch of these, and I have a bunch of the power cords and everything too. I just hang on to them because they're official Nintendo branded stuff. So, but anyway, yeah, $1.61 for this is not bad at all. Works great. It looks brand new, so very cool. Alright, and the last bit of stuff here came from the pawn shop that I was telling you about. It's basically kind of like a hole in the wall. It's not really a big chain or anything like that. It's kind of like a home-owned pawn shop. So for the reason I call it a hole in the wall is because it's kind of like off the road. You can't really even see it. It's kind of like in this like suite, and it's like in this complex of buildings with a bunch of different stores. And it's one of those places I never knew about beginning collecting games and stuff. I just kind of found out about it like over time. And anyway, I go there every once in a while. I don't go there a whole lot because they don't get a whole lot of stuff in all the time. But I decided to go yesterday just to check out and see what they had. And I'm glad I went because they had a few games here that I did not have. Especially there's a couple in here that I already do have, but they're still pretty good titles. So anyways, I got Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and PS2. I'll go ahead and show the PS2 games first. There's 4 of them. I already have 3 of these, but 1 I did not. So I'll go ahead and show these. The first 3 I'll show are the ones I already have. The first one here is Flat Out, and that one is 100% complete. The disc is a little scratched up, but it's not too big a deal. But there's that one. And then we got 2 copies of Grand Theft Auto Vice City. The reason is because these sell great with PS2s. Usually if you get a Grand Theft Auto title in with, a PS2 bundle, it sells pretty nicely, so that's very cool. And by the way, both of these have the poster map with them as well. One's the trilogy set and one's just a regular black label. And there's the other one here, complete as well. So there's those. And then the one PS2 game I did not have, which I thought was pretty cool, and this one's 100% complete as well, and that is Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. And that one's very nice as well. So, also, yes, 100% complete, and the disc looks really nice. So, very cool to find those PS2 games. PS2 games were $3 each, which, is a little bit more than what I usually like to pay for PS2 games. But for those games, that's not too bad. So, there's those. And then I got 10 Game Boy and Game Boy Color games here. 5 Game Boy and 5 Game Boy Color. I'll first go ahead and show the first 5 Game Boy games, and then I'll show the Game Boy Color ones. But these aren't any specifically fantastic titles. They're mainly just shelfware. They're not really anything too spectacular, out of the ordinary. But these were all $1 each, which is not bad at all. The first one here is Barbie Game Girl, which is nothing spectacular at all. Major League Baseball All-Star 1999, excuse me. There's that one. Then we got NBA All-Star Challenge 2. A lot of these labels are in very good shape and very clean games. The next one here is Jeopardy. And the last one here is NFL Quarterback. So there's those for the original Game Boy. And then we got 5 Game Boy Color ones here. We got Major League All-Star Baseball 2001. We got MTV's Pure Ride Snowboarding. And then we got Powerpuff Girls Paint the Townsville Green. Then we got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. And then the last one here is Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Duel Stories, which has got a little bit of fading to the label, but other than that, it's in pretty good shape. They all work, and they were all, in a discount bin at the pawn shop, so I thought, you know what, I'll just grab as many as I could. I grabbed all, I think I grabbed 90% of them. They didn't have a whole lot, but the other ones were pretty beat up or destroyed, and I just didn't, for, the titles that they were, there was like WrestleMania or something like that in there, and another baseball game and stuff, but the labels were just, badly, peeled off, and I just didn't feel like I needed to get those just because of how bad they looked. But other than that, I got the majority of the good games out of them and everything too, so Anyways, I know it wasn't a whole lot this week, guys, but that's going to do it. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing, telling your friends. It really helps me out. Thank you guys for sticking around this week. Hopefully next week I'll find this, some more stuff. I'm trying to find the places I haven't been to in a while, because usually those places, have some stuff because it's been built up for a while or something like that. You just gotta check back every once in a while. You never know what they'll have. So, anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you next week, guys. Take care, guys. See you later. Bye.